tag you. You had a good time talking to your mom last time. That was cool.
Yes,
Both of you are cool to
I
talk to.
watched it. It's amazing.
Yeah, she is. Both of you. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, well. They're starting to come in. So, here, let me hit the music. Boom. So, what's been going on?
Everything, like I said, I've I've been joining some groups of women, and like it's a space where every day you come in and um, it's kind of like a woman's circle or like a workshop, a spiritual workshop, but it's every day and it's over Telegram, and that's really helped me. So that's been a big part of my life. That's something that I've been up to. Um, and I've just been meeting a lot of people, just out of the blue, just random people that like I'd never talked to before or met before. And yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I've just been doing things every day. Something has been happening. So yeah.
Does it feel like life's coming to you rather than you're going after it?
Oh, 100%, 100%, 100%.
How about this ladies group? Are they like, is it like a starseed light worker type of flavor to it, or are they younger? Are they older? All ages? What?
It's all ages, but I am the youngest in there, and it is kind of like yeah, light worker, sort of everyone's spiritual, everyone's awakened, and there's also a level of sacred economy in it as well. So it has like a whole system built in it where you give a gift of money, and then you transition and like you go through elements. It's called dream weaving if anyone's ever heard of it. And eventually, like the whole point is it's like a workshop, but then also you're investing in others, therefore investing in yourself. And you get to a certain point in the dream weaving where you receive the gift that you gave earlier, but 8 times over. So, and everyone makes that like it's the whole moving of the dream weaving cycle.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just amazing.
I've heard of something like this before. I don't know if it was the same thing, but it sounds like you're sharing code with each other.
Uh, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. Exactly. Exactly.
So, do you
Yeah.
like meet in a group as well, or is it always in a group, or is it all done like through comments and messages?
It's always through messages because we're all across Australia.
Right.
But we also come on Zoom and do a group call and like all do face to face like once or twice a week. And
Wow.
yeah, it's really amazing. We come into the space every day and make an offering, and the offering is usually an experience of the day. So, like, say you went to the beach and you take a photo of the water and you talk about any messages you received from the water when you were at the beach, or um, a wound that has come up for you, like, say, you know, you were triggered on the street by some guy you had a experience, and you would come in and share that and what you learnt from it. And it's this thing where like everyone, I feel like every human shares very similar wounds, like in one way or another we're all like kind of connected in that way. And so when someone else is healing their wound in the space, you can kind of, it heals you in a way. And it's just, yeah, it's really beautiful.
Wow. So,
Mm.
do you guys like when you all come together? Do you do like a group meditation or anything? What's
Yes.
that like getting together with a bunch of different women and having a group meditation? What are those like?
So I'm in two at the moment actually, and one of them is with all women, and then one of them is with like all women except for one man, because men can join the space as well. Um, and just it's so beautiful in both spaces. Like they're so different, but um, I've never really experienced a meditation where it's like a women's circle before this,
Hmm.
and you can really feel like when we're doing the meditations, you can kind of the person who's leading it talks about how we're all in a circle holding hands, and I can really feel that energy. Like I literally can feel who's next to me and who's across from me and who's like
Yeah.
where everyone's at in the circle. And it's the same with both looms, and just like especially when there's so many women in both of them, it really brings a really feminine, like light energy. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morgan's been doing these groups where they go to the New Earth grid, and so I've been a part of those for a while. It's been going on for, actually for a few months. But I mean, where more than 3 people started coming in, and I was doing it with her USA group, and then I stayed up until 4 a.m. to do their because I was up, so I said I'm going to do it. It was a UK group, and it was 2 Saturdays ago, and I'd never been in a group where I was the only man, and it's the same type of thing. I mean, you go in and then there's a circle, and I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed by the difference between being in a group where there was me and 3 other men, and not to take anything away from it, but it was just absolutely amazing. Then I did it again last Saturday with them, and it was even more amazing. So
Mm,
to me, it feels like that energy, like you're getting together with these groups. She's having those groups. I know Saeed is having groups. Other women are. I mean, these are powerful gatherings that do a lot
yeah.
more than we might think. Have y'all had like group experiences during the meditation, or is it like a guided meditation, or what do you do?
So, um, I would say yes, we do kind of have a group experience because usually it's one of the 3 women who guide us in meditation, because it's part of their role at the moment in the dream weaving loom space. So like when there's different stages, and they're in the stage when they're usually doing the meditations. So members of the dream weaving are the guiders of the meditation, and so there was one just last week where we were guided to be the tree, and be a tree and walk into the tree and be the roots and feel us lifting up to the sky. And I remember everyone coming out of that meditation, just the energy had shifted completely. Like we
Wow.
all came in with our problems from the week previous, from the days of, stress, and, because life has been truly insane. And after that meditation, yeah, we were all just like, wow. And we all said it after, like, to the woman who guided us, like, thank you so much. That was such a beautiful experience. And everyone felt the same. Like, it was just amazing. It was
Wow.
so powerful.
Yeah, there's something about that. There's something to that. And then to go into those groups and basically play in dimension, right? I mean, you're
Mm,
meeting in dimension in this circle, and there's so much available because everybody's sharing code and really kind of merging, with the same
yeah.
intention. And have you had any experiences like just, as far as popping into the new earth, or seeing, getting a feeling for what's coming, or because it seems like it's moving again really fast. I know we say that every month, but it's just almost mind blowing the last few weeks.
Yeah. I, so I'm in this space where, like, I try not to know. I try not to know because it's just so overwhelming.
Hmm.
And I think I like stay away from the 3D aspect, like the news, the story, the lies. I really just like with this whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. Like, I know nothing about it. And I just, whenever I see it, I just scroll past. I'm like, not interested, don't want to know, don't care. And I think that does carry on a little bit with the 5D as well. The 5D aspect of knowing what's coming, what's, and like tapping into the collective energies as well. But then there's also an aspect where, like, yeah, maybe I won't consciously sit down and do a meditation to delve into it, but automatically I kind of already feel the collective. I already know what's going on in the now. Maybe not what's coming, but in the now, I always know because I always feel it. And sometimes it's not a great feeling. But I've definitely been wanting to go into those meditations where I am, tapping into the grid and tapping into New Earth and what's to come. Like, I definitely want to do that.
Your higher self, I think, is named Anna. Is that right?
I've never named my higher self.
I must be thinking of somebody else, some other young person. I know I am.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is, and I just don't know.
I can't remember. There's a young girl, I think 13, out of England. Maybe that's who it was. But I mean, obviously, you're connecting to your soul, to your higher self. I know in talking to you before, you have that relationship. Yeah. When you go into these meditations, is your soul, your higher self, present, or does it feel more like you, or both?
I think both. Honestly, there's a mix. Like, I haven't been able to just fully tap into my higher self and like be completely my higher self yet. I haven't reached that point, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing with that lately. I don't know if it's like an affirmation, but I am my higher self.
Yeah.
I say I am my higher self, and I notice that my voice changes when I say those. Right, when I say those words. Yeah. I'm just letting you into my crazy world, but yeah. So there's something about that because I'm like, I am my higher self. I can make a choice or choices from my, and I'm really feeling it.
Yes.
These last few days. But that's one thing I noticed. The voice changes.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I agree with that. I do say that myself, but only when, like, I don't say it all the time. I only say it when, like, something's happened or, like, I'm being overwhelmed or, like, a limiting belief is coming up. I don't just say it, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. And, no, that's so true. And I do think I am my higher self. Like, there's no argument there. But I think, yeah, I let the human get in the way sometimes.
That's what we all do. That's what we're all contending with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's a struggle on Earth. Like, it's really hard. I've been learning that. And I'm trying to take life a lot less serious. Because my human takes life so seriously, like life or death.
Right.
Life or death. It will be like literally choosing between chocolate and lollies or what you would call candy. And I'd be like, life or death situation, trying to choose between these two things. And yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, take the red pill or the blue pill. Take both.
Exactly.
So are you running across any young people yet? Are they still out to lunch?
Oh no, I have, and yeah, there's a lot more out there than I thought. I think when you're the only one in your life, you just kind of think, oh well, then that means everybody else, like, I'm the only one. And obviously I knew that wasn't true, but it was just that ego belief that was coming through when the past couple of years. But I've been going to like tribal drumming dance parties and joining Facebook groups, and I've been putting myself out there a lot more. And yeah, there's a lot of us. It's great.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Because you're in Mel,
everywhere I go.
really?
Oh yeah, I was at TAFE in this is 2020, 2021, and in my class, which is in the middle of the city, in one of those like woke areas, with all the like alt characters, like all the people that dress up like emo and
Oh,
like really
a
crazy.
culturally
Like,
diverse area
yeah,
in
the
Melbourne.
last place that yeah, in Sydney.
Oh, in Sydney, Sydney. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And there was like four people that I knew of that were awake in that one TAFE. So, and that was just in my class too. That was just in my class. So, yeah, everywhere I go, like there's, I went to a random event to help out my friend who owns a catering company, and a lot of her friends came. And I met this mom, and she like homeschools her kids, and she's like completely awake to everything that's going on. And like I just randomly met her and her kids, and it
Wow.
was just like so awesome.
So you and your mom find somebody that will understand you.
Yeah, yeah. And her kids are like my brother's age, like 11, 12,
Wow.
and they're like awake. It's just amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
Did you talk to him?
yeah. I got their number and everything.
Wow.
We're gonna hang out at some point. I don't know when, but yeah.
So how's the ascension treating your dad? Is he coming along?
I think he's fighting it a bit, to be honest.
Is he really?
um, yeah, he's not much like he's so overactive and so like just crazy minded that he doesn't sit down and meditate, and
Hmm.
I think that really puts him in suffering sometimes. Because the power of meditation is amazing, especially when you're going through ascension and you're waking up and just like yeah. So he doesn't really sit down, and but other than that, I think yeah, he's doing all right.
Hmm. Well, with you and your mom there helping him. So you're what, 18?
I'm 19 now.
You turned 19. Happy birthday.
Yeah, in March.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you.
Cool. You're a Pisces?
Yes, I'm a
And
Pisces.
Morgan's a Pisces. When's your birthday?
I'm the 11th.
Ah, she's the 10th. Crazy.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. That's
So,
awesome.
so when you meditate, do you meditate every day?
Yeah, I would say daily to at least like sometimes I'll miss out, but regularly I do. It's definitely regularly and almost daily.
And so how do you approach meditation? You just sit down and take a few breaths, close your eyes. I mean, everybody's different.
Well, I do it different ways. Sometimes, like it will depend how I'm feeling that day.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll just do a solo meditation where like I'm leading myself through it and just taking breaths. But lately, that's been really difficult. My mind has been just like I feel like my third eye chakra and my crown chakra like maybe aren't aligned or they're being overpowered. I don't know, like they're just crazy because my mind just goes like everywhere. So I do guided meditations at the moment, mostly, especially at night before bed because I've been having trouble going to sleep as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I do like meditations about lucid dreaming, about like whatever I feel like that day, I'll research it and usually do that. Like I did aligning your chakras meditation the other night, an eagle spirit animal
Wow.
meditation. So many, yeah.
So do you have like when you go in when you're in meditation, do you have like conversations with your soul or your higher self? You ever do that?
Yes, yeah, sometimes. Usually not when I'm doing a guided meditation because they're led by somebody else and like that usually doesn't come up, like talking to your higher self, at least generally. But when I'm meditating just myself, almost always I'm having a conversation with my higher self or um with someone.
Someone.
Like whether it be yeah, whether it be like a spirit guide or something like that. Yeah.
Do you usually know, or does it matter who it is or what it is?
feel. I may not know, but I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel if they're good or if they're, like where they come from or who they are.
Have you seen apparitions? Have you ever seen something that had some solidity to it?
Yeah, maybe not in regards to like say something that's going to happen and it did happen in physical reality,
Mm-hmm.
but things like within myself, wounds that have come up, and like I literally did something last night, and I say it's a meditation because like it's just not traditional meditation because I slept on my neck really bad the other night and I
Yeah.
couldn't move my neck like at all. Like even just in the morning when I woke up, I couldn't even like do that. Like it
Mm.
was so bad.
I hate when that happens.
And yes, it was so annoying and the last like so many things had built up and my body was communicating something to me as it does through every injury I feel. So like I sat down and I channeled it, like I channeled what the message was. Um, and that was just like telling me things that I didn't want to see, telling me things like that I'm ready for and need to move on, like that it's time to stop being stuck because I felt stuck within my neck.
Uh
So
huh.
it's telling me like it's time to not be stuck anymore. Like you need to let this go and heal it. And once your neck isn't stuck, that's you healing yourself as well. Like when you're healing your neck and feeling stuck in your neck, that's you like healing the stuckness in yourself. And that it was like time to take responsibility and um, decide what I decide. Like maybe not what I want to do, but just it's time to move now and stop being stuck.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So,
Yes.
like, I mean, whenever you are having these conversations with your higher self, do you get instructions from your higher self, like, go do this, go do that? Yeah.
Yeah. I do. Like especially when I'm lost about something and I don't know how to move forward, I will, if I talk to my higher self and I ask, sometimes I don't even need to be in a meditative state and channel it. Sometimes I'm just like, show me, because I'm out and doing things and I can't like stop and write or stop and meditate. So I'm like, just show me and then I'll know. Like something will come up and I'm like, okay, that's my higher self coming through and telling me that. Yeah. I remember one time, like, even though this may not be instructions, but it's definitely my higher self telling me things. I was at the dentist. This was a few years back, and I was petrified of the dentist. And I was sitting in the waiting room, like panicking, like maybe not panicking, but just really trying to settle myself and like dealing with the really strong fear. And I was thinking, don't worry, it's just temporary. Don't worry, it's just temporary. Like this is just temporary. And I looked around the room, and there was computers, and the they weren't working. So there was a big sign on the computer saying temporarily out of order. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, okay, well that's a sign. That's a sign and it like calmed me down. And I really feel like that was my higher self or, the universe, which is kind of the same thing at the end of the day,
Yeah. Yeah.
coming in and communicating to me. But
And
yeah.
you've got, I think, what, a 13-year-old brother, something like that.
Yeah, he's 11, just about to turn 12 like next month.
Okay. And do you have pets?
I did, but he
Oh,
passed away this
oh,
year.
I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that. No, I was just wondering if you're noticing any movement or change in telepathy with those that are around you.
Yes, my mum is crazy. Like, you have no idea. She pulls things out of her ass, and it's like the next second it will happen. It's just so crazy because we watch shows together. We watch Outlander together. Oh, that show is
Isn't
amazing.
it?
We watch, yes, and she'll like say, I think if you know, like, I won't spoil it, but there was like a character coming back in one of the shows that we're watching, and she was like, "Yeah, I think I don't know. like I thought he was going to be back ages ago. Like I don't know when he's coming back. And then like click of the fingers, next second, I'm not even a second, he comes back in the show. So it was like she was talking, like she mentioned, oh, I think the character's coming back this season, and we were like halfway through the season and she hadn't mentioned it again. So why she mentioned it like the second before he came back was crazy. And like things like that happen all the time. She has dreams. She had a dream about someone coming to the door and breaking in, and then the next day I left the door open because it was really hot, and I left the door open to let some fresh air into the house. And someone knocked on the door, and they could have easily come in. So it was like she was receiving messages, like no one broke in, thank God. But it was, she had a dream about someone breaking in, and then the next day I left the door open, and someone could have easily come in, and someone like was at our door knocking to give us a letter. It was just so weird. So yeah, that was a big lesson for me to not leave the door open. Maybe do the back door next time.
Right. So your mom obviously has abilities. You have abilities. Did her mom, your grandmother, have abilities? Does it run in the family?
Well, if she did, I don't think she was really tapped into them or told anybody about them. Like maybe she did have experiences, but she might have just like brushed it off. Yeah, my dad has abilities too. Like as a kid, he saw a lot of ghosts. He saw little people as well. Like he saw little tiny elves. I don't know, but he just describes them as little tiny people. And like I've never had an experience where I've seen little people or I've seen things like that. Like I feel like where I'm at in my abilities, at least at the moment, I'm kind of like a mix between the two. Like I'll hear stuff. The only thing that I saw was my dad. No, not my dad. My dog. When he had passed, I was half asleep and like I opened my eyes and I saw him on me.
Wow.
And that's the main thing that's happened. But Bryn is the same. He really is a feeler. Like he just feels everything.
Is that your brother?
And I feel, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he does? Does he talk about it?
He doesn't need to because we know when. Like he'll
Okay.
cry, he'll be emotional, and he's online on games a lot, so
Yeah.
he feels other people, and sometimes he'll come out of it like in a really angry mood or like, you know, just not feeling great and just being really moody. And I think it's from him being around people on the internet, like gaming, and maybe a bit of the games as well. But yeah, I do owe it to him being a really strong empath.
Yeah. Yeah, so your dad shared that he'd seen little people and ghosts. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I remember as a kid, because he would tell me as a kid, like, and I believed in fairies. I mean, I still believe in fairies, don't get me wrong. But I was obsessed with fairies then. Like, I had a fairy book. I would lay out, like, little fairy houses for them to come. Like, all I wanted in my life was to see a fairy. That's all I wanted. And yeah, so Dad would tell me like about the little people that he saw and about like all of his stories. And even then I knew he wasn't lying, because my dad, I've asked him, he stuck to the story, you know, all these years. And I asked him again when I was older, like, were you lying when you told me that when I was little? And he was like, no, I'm being serious. Like I actually saw little tiny people.
I don't
And
think
they
your
all
dad's.
ran away.
I don't think your dad's the type that would make that up.
No, he definitely is not.
I've
And I
never
even
met him,
knew
but
then that he wasn't lying.
I've never met him, but I just get the feeling from what you and your mom have said that the less you talk about it, the better he is. He doesn't. He doesn't really participate in the conversations, but he's hearing everything. I mean, how could he not be?
Yeah.
Our friend Kayla Casey, she works with young people, and she does some really great work. But she said, what does she feel is the most important thing that adults need to know about kids like you, or young people like you, because you're an adult?
That's a big question. I think that our feelings aren't just like we're actually feeling real stuff. Like we're feeling real stuff in the collective. I think I was struggling growing up, and I think my brother is the same at times. Like when we feel something and we're really overpowered with emotion, we don't understand where it's coming from, and yeah, we're feeling real things in the collective, in ourselves, whatever it might be. Like, and it's not just us crying for no reason, or it's not just us being emotional for nothing, and just to have someone to hold space
Yeah.
for our feelings, for everything. Yeah.
Was your mom able to relay to you that you were feeling things that weren't yours, basically?
I think, yeah, definitely, but she couldn't relate in the same way, like because she experienced something different, but she still held space and she still was there and she still understood. Um, but I see it a lot. Like when I was in school, I had a friend who I think is a starseed, but she hasn't awakened yet, and her mum just did not get it. And she was talking about how, like, in school, she loved her hairy legs because, I mean, we were going through, the whole shaving thing in high school, and like, you need to shave your legs and you need to wax your legs. And her mum was so adamant that she, like, shaved her legs. I don't know why. But my friend was like, no, I love my legs, because she was blonde, and so she had blonde leg hair, and she was like, I love my blonde leg hair. I don't want to wax it. I don't want to shave it. And she really felt strongly about how much she loved her hairy legs. And her mum just forced her, like, I wouldn't say forced her, but maybe, because, you always have a choice at the end of the day. But she really pressured her, and, like, really pressured her to just wax her legs and shave her legs, and just didn't understand how she was feeling. And instead of trying to shift her perspective to her daughter's perspective, she was like, no, I'm right, and just stuck in her own ways, and like literally pressured her daughter into shaving and waxing her legs. It was just the weirdest thing. And that happened all the time. Like, that's just one example. And not understanding of how we're feeling, because it's so different from what maybe like adults are grown up with, because the world is changing so rapidly. And like our generation, I sometimes forget, like, oh yeah, I haven't been here that long. Like, I haven't been on this earth in this lifetime that long. And what we've grown up with is very different, and there's not much understanding sometimes between adults and the generations that are coming in.
Yeah. But like your mom was familiar with the experiences you were having. I mean, um, like your intuition and whatever you were seeing or feeling, she let you know
Yeah.
that it was real in a
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. She was always, my mum was always there, even if she didn't understand. She always allowed me to be myself and listen to myself. And she always taught me, before we had woken up as a family spiritually, before all of this stuff, she always taught me to listen to myself first before anybody else. And she always let me know that it was okay. Whatever I was going through, I was okay. And
Yeah.
I was valued. My feelings are valued.
Is that what you do for yourself now, would you say? Like when you have feelings come in, you mentioned earlier, like not trying to know what's going on, like just, it sounds like you just sit with whatever it is that you're feeling, like she did for you or
Yeah.
showed you. Yeah.
Yes. I'm getting better. Like, I still kind of get caught up in it sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially nervousness, and when things come up physically in my body, that freaks me out. Um, so like I'm still getting better, and I'm relying on myself more and more to do that for me. But yeah, my mum taught me well. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to have a parent like her.
And so you mentioned that you hear things sometimes. Do you ever hear the fays or the elementals or the little people, or do you hear anything that you know what it is? And do they speak words, or is it through some other type of telepathy or imagery or something like that?
So, I don't know if I've ever heard little people. I hope I have, because how I hear things is usually when I go to bed, um, as I'm falling asleep, I will hear things. When I'm dreaming, like, when you're going to bed and you're like starting to like go through the dreaming phases and you're like thinking of random things, of songs and music, I will hear music that I'm thinking about. I will hear it, and I'll also hear things that I'm not thinking about as well. I hear voices come to me, and I do believe I hear my spirit guides sometimes.
Hmm.
I've had experiences in meditation where I've heard voices come through, and I think it's my spirit guides. Um, I may have heard, because there's some things that I hear that I don't feel like are my spirit guides, and I don't really know what it is, but I do feel like it might be like etherical fairy beings, like maybe little people. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I can't really put a label to it because I truly just don't know. Maybe because I just don't tap into it. Because like I'm falling asleep, so I'm like, okay, okay, and then I just keep going to bed. Like I don't really stop
See you
and think about
tomorrow. See you
it.
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think one of the big surprises is going to be just how much support or how much family or how much whatever you want to call it we have around us.
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to forget because it's not in front of your face. It's not, right there. But it is, but it's just not in physical reality.
So do you ever get? I think I asked you this before, but I can't remember. Do you ever get like galactic communication? Do you have any like sense or feeling innateness that you come from a certain planet, or you've certain galactic family experiences?
Yeah. I definitely feel Palladian. That's where I feel that's yeah. But I also feel like everyone has gone to different places. Like everyone has gone to, everyone's been Lemurian, everyone's been Arcturian, everyone's been even possibly reptilian, like, but I definitely feel more towards Palladian. And I have had a meditation where I think I was in a Palladian ship and I was observing the planet, the blue planet. I don't know. It was just a blue planet. And I think one of my spirit guides might be Palladian. And maybe my soul family. I don't know. But I also think like my soul family is here. So you know, I can't imagine having much of a deeper connection with my mom and with my brother and with my dad. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You guys are a special breed, but there's more and more households like that. I've run across a few people, and the whole family's awake together, which is really cool.
yeah, it's amazing.
So, do you? I mean, some people, I think they call it automatic writing. Some people do, but I mean, do you ever like write down what you're pulling in or what you're channeling? Is that like something you
Yeah,
do?
that's the main way I do it. Because otherwise, my brain gets too caught up. Like, I'll receive a message while I'm in meditation, and I'll be like, "But is that what I heard, or did I hear this, or like, is that right? Is that coming from the right place?" And I'll really overthink the message that I'm receiving. I won't just receive it. But when I write it, there's no, there's like, it's almost like there's no filter or there's no
Right,
blockage. That my mind isn't there. My mind gets pushed aside, and it clears the channel for the message to come in.
right. Which is coming from the universe slash your higher self, from where
Yeah.
you're, yeah. And you can feel when it's not, when it's something another aspect.
Yeah, I
And
can feel usually what it is.
and you make a choice in the moment whether you're going to engage it or not. or go to sleep. There's a third option.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And your mom has different clairs or the same clairs as you?
I think she has different because she just knows straight away. Um, we also have been doing, if you've ever heard of the human design chart,
Yeah.
and like gene keys, we've been doing ours. Well, we have done ours actually, and we're ruled, or like, what is it? Not ruled, but we have different inner authority chakras, and that changes the way that you respond to things. So hers, I believe, is a sacral, which means she can just know things from her intuition at, instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm a solar plexus inner authority. So I have a wave of emotion that comes over me, and I have to wait for the wave to come over for me to be able to decide, because the wave of emotion is just so, like, I'm in the wave, I'm getting tumbled and twisted and turned in that wave, and I don't know what to choose until the wave has passed and I'm clear again.
Wow. Very
Yeah,
perceptive. Very perceptive.
yeah.
Do you guys ever like come together and like forge your power or your intentions on specific?
Yeah, yeah. um, when we just talk all the time. And like we're going to, we're planning on doing a podcast together, and we're taking inspiration from you, Todd. So thank you. Um,
Cool.
about the whole Zoom face-to-face thing, and yeah, we really admire the energy that you hold and the questions that you ask. So we're taking inspiration a little bit from you and from some other people, and also our own energy, of
Of
course.
course, yeah.
And that's one thing that we're working on together with our own powers to
Cool.
create.
That would be cool.
But yeah, we do it all the time.
A mother and daughter doing a talk show. That would be very cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Do
I'm
you
I'm really excited.
do you ever go into light language or anything like that? Do you ever does you were talking about channeling unobstructed when you write? Does anything else ever come through?
Me personally, I'm really interested in it. I have not yet done like light language, but I've watched people do light language, and my mum, she knows light language, but more the writing. Maybe not so much the speaking,
Mm-hmm.
but the language of the letters or the characters.
Right.
She had a dream about a bracelet. I think she must have told you about it. I don't know. I don't know if she did or not. I don't remember, but she had a dream about a bracelet and created that bracelet, and that's what got her into jewelry. And in her dream, it was all light language and symbols on the bracelet. So she knows more of the letters of light language.
Yeah. No, I just wondered. I wondered if you had like some other stuff happening or an aspect coming through or an essence or whatever. Yeah.
I definitely feel like I will one day. Like and probably soon. Like I will get into that. Um, yeah, I just it hasn't happened yet. So
There's been so much weird stuff happening, particularly this year, and of course with time, a lot of weird things been happening with time. Are you having any like time lapses or Mandela effect or just like weird stuff where you just like that?
yes, yes. Oh, I've got a story. So I babysit a lot. And I brought my computer, and I have a new computer with like a fancy pen, because it's one of those computers that you can like write on.
Hmm.
And I brought it because me and the kid like to play Roblox together. He's so cute. I love kids. Yeah. So we play Roblox together, and I brought my laptop, and I brought the pen with me, and it was time for me to go, and I saw the pen on the kitchen counter before I left, and I'm like, oh, my pen, thank God. And I put it in my bag, and I remember thinking to myself, luckily I saw it, because that would have been really shitty to leave it here and have to come back and not be without my laptop pen. And so I go home and a week goes by and I haven't needed to use it yet. Like, I just haven't needed to draw on my laptop or write. But then all of a sudden, like, I want to draw and I'm trying to find my pen. And I'm like thinking, where did I leave it? And I'm like, oh, that's right. I left it when I put it in my bag when I left babysitting. So I look in my pocket and it's not there. So I'm like, did I take it out? What did I do? And I couldn't find it for another few days, but I was like to my family, look, I know I haven't lost it because I remember bringing it home, but just if you see it around, let me know. And then, a couple of days go by and I watch an Elizabeth April video, and she's talking about glitches in the Matrix, time-lapse shifts, and how she, like, her girlfriend lost her, or her wife, sorry, I don't know. She lost her wallet and was looking around the house and came into a room that she hadn't even been yet, and her wallet that she thought she left when she went out was in a drawer that she hadn't even been in since she came home.
Isn't that crazy?
And so I'm like, maybe that's what happened to my pen. And so I call my babysitter and my pen was at her house. And I remember putting it in my bag and going. So, yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. And there's so much of it happening now that we can't just say it's your imagination anymore. I mean, it's happening in a lot of different ways other than, like, the type of way that you're talking about. But, yeah. I can't even imagine, you're 19 years old. I can't even imagine you running into a 19, 20, 21-year-old guy or whatever, friend or whatever, and sitting down and having a conversation with you. Like, talking about fairies and the higher self and meditation. And, I mean, I don't know how much kids or young people, I shouldn't say kids, but young people, young adults are into. And I wonder, are they just beating at a different frequency and they're just kind of there? They got it kind of thing? Or, are they plugged in? Do they worry about the world? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went on my first ever date with a guy. And that was like last week. And so we were talking a lot. And I feel like so many people that I talk to are awake of so many things, but they just don't let themselves go that extra mile where it gets into the real stuff, the real internal work and the things that are considered woo-woo or, not real. They don't allow themselves to go down there. Like, they only let themselves go to a certain point where it's like, oh yeah, the government is so rigged and like to a point where they're just complaining about things and not actually doing anything. So that's not everyone, but I was on the date with a guy and he was awake to a lot of stuff, but it was just he doesn't see the rest of it. He won't allow himself to go there.
Wow.
So
I'm
we're going to be friends, but
I'm sure you planted a few seeds. I'm sure you planted a few seeds, no doubt.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you? I'm just curious. Like, what's the like, just say the most far out, off planet or whatever, paranormal, whatever that ever happened to you?
Gosh, I would say there's a lot. I had this weird experience with, like, okay, first of all, I think a lot of the stuff that happens that is crazy is when I'm asleep and I go places, but I don't remember when I come back. I think my memory's wiped, or I don't know, maybe I'm doing work with my spirit guides and they're like, okay, we're going to wipe your memory now and you're going to wake up and not remember this. That's kind of what I feel like goes on. But also, in terms of things that I do remember, I had this weird experience where I had, like, this spirit animal squirrel in my throat chakra. I know it sounds really random, but I had this, like, this energy of a squirrel in my throat, and I couldn't, for ages, I couldn't sleep with, like, clothes on my neck. So say like clothes were touching my neck, I literally couldn't have anything touching my neck when I was asleep because of this like squirrel energy. Um, and that was really strange. And the whole experience of going into meditation and talking with the squirrel was really strange. I don't really remember what the squirrel was saying, but that was weird. And I had another experience where I talked to a mermaid through meditation.
Really?
And yeah, what was crazy about that is when she finished talking, that was the bell rang of the meditation audio, and like she like said, okay, well, goodbye, and then the bell rang and the meditation was over. So it was really weird in that
You
sense.
can't make this stuff
And
up.
yes, and that was a really beautiful meditation because she was showing me more about divine feminine and just inner power. So that was a really beautiful, crazy thing. But all the crazy things that have happened to me have never been scary
Right.
or negative. Like not negative in a bad way, but negative is in the shadow. Like it's always been magical things. And I've had like channels like meditations and channels with dragons as well, and that was amazing. Um, the only thing that was crazy that scared me was when I was a lot younger and I went to England to visit my grandparents, and I woke up at 3. I don't even know what time, but it was like 3 a.m. And then I tried to go back to sleep, and I woke up again in the same hour of 3 a.m. And all of a sudden I felt this really dark presence in the corner, like a shadow. I think it was a shadow person. I don't know. It was just I was paralyzed with fear to the point where I couldn't even get out of my bed to run out of the room. Like I just had to
When you're
kind of,
paralyzed, I
yeah,
haven't had one of those in
yeah,
years, but those are scary as hell. You can't even move. And you're in that space where
yeah,
am I awake or am I asleep? But I can't move either way. Yeah.
yeah. It was definitely that aspect of it. Like I knew I was awake though, and I could move, like I could kind of move, but only to the point where it was like minimal things. Like I could only just lift the blanket over me and just sit there with the blanket over me.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that
it.
was all I
Yeah.
could
Like
do.
when you're a kid, like that's going to really actually protect you. But it does feel better if the blanket's over your head. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the divine feminine and the mermaid telling you about the divine feminine. Do you feel like you're stepping into your power? Do you feel like you're coming out in some way?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, if I wasn't, I would never have gone on that date. And because that was a really big step for me. And this space, this dream weaving space that I mentioned earlier, being with all the women, have really helped. It's really helped me embody a deeper level of my divine masculine and feminine. Um, but yeah, I'm still getting there. I'm still, there's always work to be done. There's always something else that comes up. But every day I'm stepping deeper and deeper into my divine feminine. And it's hard, but I'm doing it.
It's what?
It's hard, but I'm doing it.
Is it? How is it hard? I
I
mean,
think just because oh, sorry, you go.
no, no, go ahead. I'm just typing a message to Morgan real quick. Go ahead. I mean,
Oh, okay.
how is it hard?
So for me, it's hard because it just shows up so many things of the shadow that I don't want to deal with, and things that maybe, yeah, I don't want to see about myself, and it brings up the unbalanced masculine and the unbalanced feminine as well. Like being going in and stepping into the divine obviously brings up the things that are unbalanced, so you can balance them and step further into the divine. And yeah, that is what's harder for me. That's what's hard.
So
Doing all
do you
that.
have a process that you use?
I usually write or journal, and when something comes up, it takes me a few days to process it. whether that be through a burning ceremony. Burning ceremonies really, really help me. Like I'll write it down on a piece of paper, like what I want to let go, what's coming up that I'm ready to release, and then I'll burn it in like a sacred bowl, and like I create like a little ritual out of it. And I journal a lot. I process through just meditating and like seeing it come up and letting it flow out, like just opening myself up to it so it can flow out of me. And that usually takes a couple days, and then I've processed it and I'm ready to move on.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, you're on it. So you guys are gonna. You guys are. You think you're gonna do this podcast with your mom soon?
Yes, I think it's taken. So we've come up with the name, and we're probably going to call it Witch Bitch, like as in witch bitch, but also witch,
Oh
like
yeah.
with the magical witch. So that's what we're thinking of at the moment. And yeah, that's really our main thing that we've got going for us at the moment. And I'm going to work on some stuff on Canva, like the art side of it, like the branding side of it, because I really enjoy doing all that stuff. And we'll probably do that together because we both enjoy that. Yeah, I think it's going to happen soon.
Very cool. Well, let me know. Keep me posted. And thanks for coming in today.
Definitely.
Thanks for coming in today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, right on. Our friend Kayla Casey put a note in the comment section. I think it will be on my page on Facebook to you. She's doing some stuff you might be interested in. All right.
Okay.
Well, you take care.
I'll go onto the Facebook and have a look.
Yeah. You take care, and best to you and your family. And I hope you get a second date, or you go on your next date with that guy or somebody else or whoever.
We'll see. We'll see.
Stepping into her power. All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll see you again in 2022.
So grateful.
You take care.